once it goes live on my page, which it is just right now, go ahead and share this with the people. Where is it at? Oh, and I need to hit this freaking thing, which I always forget. I just, oh God, I'm dying. Let's just record the audio. Where is, come on. Where is it on here? Did I already hit it? Yeah, it is. Just need to like update so I can share it. Come on, interwebs. Being trash right now. Maybe if I shake my phone, it'll just do what I want it to do.
You got Wi-Fi in this joint?
Yeah, I got Wi-Fi. It's
not the greatest.
I kind of have to use the Wi-Fi to do.
Yeah, it's like being in a car dealership. None of them have good Wi-Fi connections.
There it is. All right, so share. I'm gonna go ahead and share this. Right pose with the brow and little happy face. Post. All right, if you could share that guy too, it should be on the page. I'm gonna play my music and don't mind my intro for you if it sounds struggly. Oh,
you're lucky. This is the last social media I use.
Oh yeah,
I'm off of almost everything but this and Twitter. No more Instagram. Got rid of it.
I feel you, bro. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play my music, and we're just gonna get right into this. Okay, brother? All right, let's do it.
Gang, gang, gang! He's that funny young guy to talk to. Always seem to have a good talk. Always coming back around. Have a friend and half him. Come and try to sit down with him. Have a drink and have a talk. Smoke a blunt, maybe it's whiskey. Think about the world at large. Cause every black sounds like Dave Chappelle. Sarah Black sounds like.
All right, that is enough of that. Ooh, good morning, people. I'm sick as fuck right now, but I do have the bro on. I'm gonna give him a wonderful intro if my brain allows me to. So this man right here, we used to work at Carmax throwing silk on the pimp game. He just got back from Turks and Caicos. He's on his way up the socio-economic ladder. He's a fan of Obama. He's one of my best friends, ride or die. He's watched me go from the wildest negro in the OC to man with a family. My ace, boon, coon. My main man, mayonnaise. I do want to throw two more in there. Also, the guy I've watched take down a car coin meter with his shoulder, uninjured, out in the streets of Laguna. But also, I've watched jogging briskly on a track, slip, fall in a puddle, and destroy his shoulder, and we ended up in the ER. My main man, mayonnaise. My other Mayo brother from another mother. Sorry, I'm so sick. Welcome to the show, man. I'm going to give you a clap.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Oh, my God. I'm so sick. But I'm glad you're here, bro. I'm glad you're here, man.
Yeah, I wanted to get on this thing.
This is cool, man. Dude, did you I wanted to ask, did you get a new car?
I did. I bought a car on Sunday.
Did you, but you already had the 5.
Yeah, I got rid of it.
And what did you get now?
I got a 440, brand new.
440. What is the 440?
It's like the 4 Series, but it's a 4-door instead of the coupe, the 2-door, and just a little more engine power.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with that, bro? Why do you need more engine power, fancy boy?
Just something to do, something to have.
Oh, just something for the kids?
Yeah, the mother car was great, but it drove like a boat, so I wanted something a little zippier.
A little zippier.
A little zippier.
Here, get that mic down a little bit. Just so you, there you go. Oh man, so glad you're here today. Really, we can just talk about anything. I threw down some questions last night. I got home not super late, but we had like a mixer at school, and then I came home and I was like, I need to get some questions together. So you had some pretty funny answers to some of my pre-interview questions. But for the people to get to know you, the first thing I like, where do you come from, bro? You know what I mean?
I come from a lot
Before
of places,
Orange
man.
County, where did you come from?
I was born in Martin Luther King Jr. Hospital in LA. Shout out to everyone born in Killer King. We survived. We made it. One of the top places where babies died in the country for a hospital, which is why they shut it down and reopened it.
Oh dear.
But I lived out in LA, various parts of LA. I've lived in Compton. I lived in Long Beach. I lived in Inglewood. I lived in Lakewood. I lived everywhere basically that you could live in this area. And then around ninth grade, I moved to Orange County. My mom started a company. It did all right, so she got us out of the bad situation into a better one, and I've been there ever since.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother. I'm glad you're here, man. If your mom didn't get you guys out of the hood, you just would have never you never would have been here to kick it with me in the streets.
I have no idea where I would have been. It wasn't looking good.
It probably wouldn't have been good. But also when I asked you who you trust, you said James Baldwin, Barack, and Michelle. Why'd you say that?
That's just the people whose guidance, like, to me, especially James Baldwin, I came to him so late in life. He's such a sage, especially with everything that's going on right now, like just speaking the truth. And of course Barack and Michelle, the dignity, whether you like them, don't like them. And I have been lucky enough to have jobs where I've traveled the country, met a lot of different people who think differently, but there's a dignity and a reverence that people have, a respect.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't trust him with them drones, though.
No, never. But
he'll take you out of the game.
I believe that there's different power sources in the country, and the president is not the end all be all, especially when it comes to who fires those guns, because those make money, and that's not stopping unless we have to stop that.
Yeah. Can we say how ignorant the whole Kaepernick and Nike? I feel like there's just like from all angles, like Nike's just having a run of it.
Oh, they just want
they're making so much money. They're just chilling. They don't give a fuck they don't care about black people. They don't care about the cause. They don't care about the NFL. They're just trying to, because I'm sure NFL probably has their gear. I'm sure, more people are going to buy Nike. People are burning it, but you're just promoting it. It's just all wins. It's all wins for them.
People have to understand, Nike doesn't make their money off of the person who just goes and buys a random pair of cross trainers. They make their money on people who stand in line 8 hours to spend $300 on shoes that were made in 1984, Air Jordans, all these specialty Kobe's, people like me who own 6-7 pairs of shoes at a time and are, every once in a while, once a quarter, a couple times a year, are buying more shoes. Not even just for athletic purposes, but just to go
swag.
Out and exactly.
Just to stun on these fools.
People doing it for the culture. So they're not worried. Nike is very intelligent in their opportunity. I think they set on it. They had him signed. They set on him for a couple years. So I think they were saying, okay, where is this going to end up with our target audience, which is the majority of the country, and the majority of the country is too busy trying to eat to worry about what's happening with Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, we're blessed to just be able to sit here and talk about it and not, find ourselves in any crazy situations like that. Got a little money, got some food, got shelter, all that stuff. Not too concerned about the police. I do get a little nervous, but I drive the speed limit and keep it classy.
I've been very my racial ambiguity has blessed me with privileges, and the police are one of them. So, there's been times, especially when I was around a lot of my white friends, where I was like, wow, they can curse out a police officer. I can curse out a police officer. And you kind of can. But then I'd be with other family members, like my nephews, people who can't hide where they come from. And it's a little different story.
Yeah. That's true. Um, I want to thank you for coming on, volunteering for the interview, man. How are you doing today?
Doing great, man. I can't complain.
Yeah.
Nothing. Everything's going my way right now.
Yeah,
Knock on
man.
wood.
Yeah, knock on wood, because you just got the new job, negotiating a little bit of a increase in the salary, working from home.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
what's
had
up.
a had a great time traveling the country, learned a lot, sucked up a lot of information from a lot of really good people and mentors, and then just got to a point where, to be honest, I was bored. Needed
Yeah.
something different. What I was doing was great, but it was too easy. It wasn't mentally challenging. A
Yeah.
lot of jobs really want to suck out your energy,
Mhm.
and they want to suck out your creativity,
Yeah.
but you don't have any ownership or any autonomy over being creative and
Yeah.
controlling the process.
Yeah.
So, I joined another great company, but a much smaller place that gives me a little more autonomy, a little more control over everyone pulling in the same direction.
And just to briefly let people know, what were you doing, and then like what are you going to be doing now?
Yeah. Well, I've we started selling cars. That's how we met. I've logged almost a decade in the automotive industry, whether it was at Carmax on the retail side, or I worked for Auto Alert for the last 4.5, almost 5 years. In that time, I had 4 different positions. I've done everything from the bottom, customer support work to, selling software to car dealerships. I managed an inside sales team. That was a lot of fun. And then for the past 2.5, almost 3 years, I was out on the road, going to car dealerships who have purchased the software and basically sales training, process implementation with business owners, putting game plans together, and basically making sure, hey, you just gave us all this money. Let's make sure that that ROI is where it needs to be.
Yeah, return on investment. That's what's up, man. I have to say, honestly, I'm really proud of you, your hard work. We got somebody here, Evan Teitelbaum.
Yeah.
What's up, Mayo? You have grown up, man, and glad you're doing good with your career.
Evan's the man. One time he got upset and tried to punch me in the face at Capo Beach. Shout out to Evan Teitelbaum. True story. He's a good guy.
One time he got upset at the beach and
It's
tried
true.
to punch me in the face.
It's the real
T-Bone.
Yeah, T-Bomb's the man, bro.
That's hilarious. Oh my god. What is your I gotta clip your ear, bro.
Probably did. True story. But I my head movement is, what it is.
You gotta duck and bob and weave when those blows come at you on the court.
And Evan's like twice my size. He's a tall young man.
Oh wow. How did what's your because we met at Carmax. We were just kind of young and effing around over there. And that was cool. We were throwing silk on stuff. We had like a dance we did, and we like throw silk.
Right when Rick Ross was really popular.
Oh, that was like the motivational.
Yeah.
He was like a motivational speaker.
We're out there
in the speakers. I said it's motivational speaker in the speakers. That's weird. What was one of the most, in your mind, was one of the most fun times we had together, or memorable times?
The crazy thing is, there's so many times. It's like almost a decade, a good part of a decade.
Been here like 12 years. I was in California,
making mistakes and doing crazy stuff, and
definitely making mistakes.
From San Diego to Vegas to everything.
Brandon makes poopy emojis. I like that.
Yeah, he's a troll.
He's
a professional though.
Super troll. Troy's a troll samurai level 9,000.
Craftsmanship is heavy.
Thanks for introducing me to him, even though he's a piece of shit. And now he's a father.
Yeah,
and I'll be a father. I will. But yeah, there has been a lot of good moments.
Yeah, I mean, I saved your life once, and
Hollywood.
That's real life.
Oh man, I don't know if you can say how good of friends we are if you haven't at least dragged my lifeless, unconscious body out of a bar or club somewhere in LA or Orange County or San Diego. Right when we got there. I was turned up.
I was like, this is going to be a great night.
I was just turned up before we even got there. I was just trying to drown those demons, but those motherfuckers can swim, man.
I remember telling you, because we were drinking in a limousine, getting right, and it was great atmosphere, cool people.
Ooh,
and I was
vibes.
like, you gotta pace yourself. You're
Yeah,
looking at
pace
me like,
yourself,
why aren't
man.
you drinking so much? I'm like, you gotta pace yourself. It's a long night.
Yeah. It was a long night for you. It was a short night for me. I was just passed out on the street. Just
Yeah, they thought you might have been like one of the bums on Sunset Boulevard.
yeah, man. Oh, at 7 p.m. Yeah. I like to
Basically.
pass out early. I used to drink with Brandon, Mr. Brandon Pacheco, straight out of the ATL. We used to go to Taco Tuesdays on like Tuesdays, and we would just get a bottle of Evan Williams and just get closer to the spirits, and watch Aziz and Asari, who he introduced me to, and just take it to the face.
It's incredible how you could, in basically a 3-year span, you go from having boundless energy to it being 10 o'clock and you're like, how am I still awake? That's called, for the children out there, that's called being 30. It doesn't hit you right at 30. It hits you about 31, 32, and then you die and all your energy gets sapped. So use it now.
Use that energy now, dude. When I saw you, when I was over your place the other day, and I saw you bend down to get something, and you were like, your knees. I was like, what happened? What happened to your knees?
Now that's outdoor basketball for probably at least 5 years too long before I just played strictly indoors. That's outdoor basketball eating away at my knees.
Jeez, man. You got to start swimming now. Have you started doing that?
I don't swim. I do a lot of, I stretch a lot. And
That's good. That's a good idea.
My girl's really into Bikram yoga. She's trying to get me on that. I might get into that.
What is and shout out to Natalia.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Got yourself a nice young lady, pretty young lady. She's got you trying to do some yoga. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm all about stretching. I think it's imperative.
It is.
Especially when you go on the road, flying on planes a lot it really hurts your body. It's not a long-term thing. It's a great thing, but no one should do it forever because it really physically, like, your joints age.
Oh, do you know what? I should tell you. So I had a friend who does Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He does martial arts, and he had a friend that does martial arts and recommended him like CBD oil because it's California. It's legal, has no psychoactive like stuff going on, and like you just drop it under your tongue, and like it can completely like it helps with like inflammation and stuff.
Yeah, I've used it. It's actually really great. It's just tasteless. It's a pain reliever. It's like you said, it doesn't get you high. It's just for medical purposes.
Yeah, it's totally legal at Mother's and stuff. And I started using it, and my back, I had some back pain, like, and I think it really like kind of relieved that back pain. Like I can still feel there, but I can feel like something there, but it's not as inflamed or something. It's not as super uber sensitive. And also like some like anxiety too. Like if I'm like see like there's a mess or something at the house or something, I'm just like, it just kind of like curves it out.
There's always a placebo effect of you're doing something to help something and it starts to help something. But I think it really does. There was I don't think people know this, but there was a time in this country closer to the turn of the century where what we would consider now like Western medicine, pharmaceuticals, how you go to the doctor now was only about 50% of the use, and more Eastern medicine, herbs, CBDs, things of that nature, not
holistic.
Holistic things were another 50% of the industry. And the change was because the people who were very much into the pharmaceutical and had investments in it, and the investments and the money opportunity was ultimately what won.
That's weird. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just want to like move that. That was just annoying me up there. Yeah, I guess pharmaceutical companies are doing their damn things these days.
Money is it's our greatest anchor, but it's also our greatest control. Because if you want to get somebody to do something right, stop giving them your money and watch how quick. Like when people wanted to desegregate buses, what did they do? They stopped riding the buses.
Yeah.
Everyone's heart didn't change. The money got in the way.
Yeah, I always feel like people, if they want change, but people are just they're so into convenience and everything. It's really hard for them. But like, if you want it to like the most immediate, like, without even having to vote or go through the bureaucracy of, our government and stuff. If you would just stop spending your money with some of these companies, you would have an immediate effect.
And
But
a
people
collective,
can't do that collectively if they stop,
they have to know why. Like, collectively you make an effort. You're reaching out to them. You're telling them, hey, we love your product. We want to do this, but that you're supporting this or you're supporting that. I think no matter what your ideology is, it's a good idea for people to use it's more powerful than the vote, because the way our system is set up, you have the electoral college, of course. So land has power, right? I've been to Nebraska and Alabama and all these places. Nobody lives there. No one lives there, but they have equal power to a state like California where 1 in 6 Americans lives.
Yeah.
So the only way to combat that unequal power is really the pocketbook, because people in a place like California, Virginia, Florida, Texas, New York, those are the places, Nevada, a couple other states that really pay the bills in this country entirely. California, for example, grows 70% of the agriculture that feeds the entire nation.
Yeah, we grow like almonds and I don't know, like a ton of stuff, and we have like the 4th largest. Somebody told me you have the 4th largest economy in the world or something.
I think it's like, last time I read it was like 5th, but it's increasing because it's only gaining in power. And it's funny because there was for so long a mass migration to California, but it's been pretty stable lately. There's people who, if you start making 100 G's or so and you got a couple kids, moving to Texas or Arizona sounds like a pretty good deal, and it probably is.
Yeah, you should probably save yourself some money with how inflated home prices and shit is out.
Yeah, where California wins is if you're poor. This is the best place to be poor by a mile. No, it's not even close.
What do you mean exactly?
Meaning you have access to great things to do that don't cost money, like the beach. You're an hour, in Los Angeles or in Orange County, you're an hour from the desert. You're an hour from the mountains. There's
plenty of activity.
Yes, and there's social services. There's busing and trains. There's things you can do to get from where you are to another level if you put your mind to it. If you go to places that are nice places, like I've been to Salt Lake City and Mobile, Alabama, if you're poor there, your odds of not being poor are very small. I'm not saying people don't rise up, because people can leave states and become mobile, go to college, and that's a way out. But just, hey, I'm just gonna grind. I'm not, school's
There's not a lot
for me
to grind that out, like in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, unless you got a couple bucks in your pocket and can go to a trade school. People don't.
Yeah.
People. I'm sure you saw the video with the dude from the Cosby Show.
Oh,
and
he's working at Trader Joe's or something.
And people are slamming on him. And you know what? Even like Black Twitter was really slamming on him. And I hate that. There's so much dignity in work, and we get a little off the trail when we start bagging on somebody for having a job.
Yeah, I didn't even read into that. Like, I didn't even read into the straw thing, because like I'm thinking like, okay, here's this guy from the Bill Cosby Show. He was cool, so maybe he is working at Trader Joe's. I didn't think, oh my, how the mighty had fallen. I was just like, probably just had to get a job, man. He didn't have the proper royalty set up and contracts and stuff, so he just had to get a job. And so like, yeah, I'm sure Black Twitter is weird.
He was on the Cosby Show. What's going on with Bill Cosby? They're not playing it on Nick at Night like they were for years, right? Those residual checks, I'm sure, have shrunken down.
Yes.
And he got to work. Everybody has to work.
Yeah. So think about that. If he was getting residuals from the Cosby Show, if everybody was eating fat off that, and when the whole thing with Cosby went down, dude, he fucked up everybody's check. Wow, I didn't even think about that. Bill Cosby, his little touchy, drugging like women stuff. If people are getting residuals off those Cosby shows, and the Cosby was playing on, I'm sure, multiple stations, everyone on that show, like a whole Cosby family, he fucked up their paychecks.
Yeah, it's the ecosystem of people that he was.
Because that guy he didn't have a lot of other shit going on aside from that.
No. He's done Broadway. He has, and he said it himself, but it's true. He has like a career that most working actors would die for, like that they do.
True.
But it's just like sports, right? We always think of LeBron, but the dude at the bottom of the bench is not making it the millions that you think, or the NFL or baseball.
There's always that certain percent that's like peak that kind of fuels the whole
Yeah.
industry, like Cosby, I guess LeBron or Jordan, or even in the music industry, I don't know, maybe a Taylor Swift or whoever, the ones that get the most money, or like everywhere you can't get away from. They're kind of like, they're up there.
People who move the numbers on iTunes, everybody else has to get on the tour bus and go make their money show after show, city after city.
On that grind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I always said like because I used to have like when I was kind of just running out there in the streets a little more and just like playing, having fun, getting drunk and partying, and friends or cousins would see what I was doing. I always tell people like, you could come out here and get excuse me, so sick, get a sales job, and like there's always sales jobs out here. Somebody's always and like come up, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to work hard, but there's like literally there's always jobs out here. You can't tell me there's not jobs. There's always jobs. It may not be the best, but especially sales, there's always sales. And I've had a few friends, like my friend Bill and even my friend Dave Wilson, and who are just like natural salesmen who just kill. They're sharks. They're just amazing salesmen. They're always in that top percent of sales, like other people in top percents of stuff. And just if you want to make it out here in California, there's plenty of opportunity. There's absolutely no shortage of opportunity and jobs and stuff. I DJ'd for a little while, mildly successful.
You had money coming in, DJ.
There was
if you
like
stuck to that, who knows where you'd be?
I kind of
gigs.
Yeah, I did. I didn't think anything of it in the beginning. For some reason, it was paying bills, and I was just like, this is weird. And my real job wasn't even really barely even doing anything. So yeah, you can kind of make money different ways out here. Lots of different money.
Yeah,
different ways.
It's true.
Let's see here. Sorry. So, what is there anything that you want to talk about today?
I mean, there's lots of things, but I want to let you lead the direction. It's your show.
Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't prepare super well for today. I have like tons of questions. I do have tons of questions, but I definitely left it open just because I knew we could really talk about anything.
Did you see Kanye's tweets to Drake?
Kanye's tweeting to Drake?
Yeah.
What's
out
he
in public?
Oh no.
It's very strange.
What's he saying?
Just about his energy, and I shouldn't have. If I was gonna make a song with Pusha and it was gonna be involve you, I should have taken myself out of the picture.
Oh.
Just very.
Is he like apologizing? Or?
Yeah, he's on an apology tour. He also apologized for saying that slavery was a choice, and he cried.
Did you see? When he went on TMZ, and we're all like, he said slavery is a choice, all stuff. I saw more footage, and he said some shit about like how he got like surgery or like modification stuff. Did you see that stuff?
Well,
and he's like, I did it for you guys. I got
He got plastic surgery.
I was like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Go to the gym, G. Your wife goes to the gym.
Yeah. I was just like, when he said that, I was like, this man's lost. Men, I mean, whatever. Maybe it's sexist to say that men don't need to be getting fucking plastic surgery unless it's like some serious like shit. Like,
it's not what's sexist.
Women don't even need to.
Is that women feel like they have to. That's what's sexist. But I mean, you're right. What you're saying is he doesn't have those societal constraints where he has to feel like, oh, I gotta be in shape, bro. Like, you're a rapper.
He needs to get off them pills. He needs to go climb the mountain, find enlightenment, and be the.
I think that's the problem. He's been on that peyotes and all those hallucinations as an artist trying to get into himself, and that's all well and good when you're making a rap album, but when you go in front of people and you start talking about your affinity for Donald Trump and slavery was a choice, there's a backlash.
Oh my God. He's apologizing to Drake about what?
Being a part of songs that dissed him.
Man, I'm sad. I don't know. I think I'm sad. I think I'm sad that he's just falling apart in front of us and there's nothing we can do.
I
guess it is what it is, man.
You get so rich, man. You
That shit fucks people up.
Everyone, like, he's been rich a long time, right? He's been
Yeah.
successful a long time. It
Since before I came to California.
So you get all this money, you get all this stuff, you have all these hanger-ons, you start to shed some people. You shed some people that you really couldn't trust, but you also shed some people who just got caught up in the net of shedding. And you like, and it's something he was talking about in an interview. He, some of the people who were there as a backstop to make sure he didn't go to that next level,
yes,
aren't there anymore. So he's on his own, and he's not like. Kanye West is a musical genius, but he's not a PR genius. He ain't the smartest guy in the world. Like he says things that he believes, but he believes things sometimes only in that moment. He hasn't really, when you say slavery is a choice, you haven't really thought about it. It's just something you felt. Like if I was there, I'm Kanye West, I wouldn't be a slave. I'd just get up in front of the slave owner and start rapping.
and
You know what I'm
die.
saying? Like it's not a well thought out ideology. He isn't coming to the table with all these thoughts that he wants to express. Someone asking him a question and he's just popping off.
Oh man, gosh, somebody needs to save him. He needs to save himself. I'm not excited for when the kids start growing up and what are they gonna? Who's their role model? Their mom and her ascension to fame.
I'm sure it'll be
via
like Little
sex
Pump or
tape?
something.
The daughter.
That's gonna be their role model, Little Pump.
Oh God. Oh, what do you think of the MGK fire back at
I thought it was good. It's great for music.
yeah.
I'm an old school dude, so I'm Eminem all the way, but I thought his diss record was really great. I
Yeah,
thought
it wasn't subpar.
solid.
It was above average.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong I can say. I'm just waiting for the rebuttal because I thought he came strong.
Yeah, I listened to a review of by Anthony Fontano on the YouTubes. He's my favorite music reviewer, and he didn't have like a too shining of a review of Eminem's album. I don't know. Did you listen to it?
I listened to it like 3-4 times.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Parts of it.
I think people just want him to make an album for the charts, and he's making these artistic lyrical driven albums that take nuance, that take patience to listen to and to really understand. You like it the second and the third time you listen more than the first. And I just think we've all been trained to have no attention span. If he doesn't bump, that's why some of the music, the Teriyaki 69 and Little Pump, those
Teriyaki
guys,
69.
you know what I'm saying? Like those guys of the world who are coming out and they're artists. Like it's so funny. I was watching an interview with Teriyaki 69. And he was saying, he was reciting the verses to Fifi and basically saying like, I get this is stupid. If I'm like, he was like, if I'm Jay-Z, I must think this guy's like the dumbest guy ever because this doesn't even rhyme, but it's hot.
It's hot.
If it flows right, or if the beat is right, it really doesn't matter what anyone says. And that I think that's a problem. It's a societal problem, but it's deep in the business. It's deep in the music business. If you're not, they just want him to make some stuff that he made in 2002, and it's
that's not gonna happen,
bro.
He's
off.
He's
not on drugs anymore. He's not like in that space.
He's sober, bro.
Yes,
he's a single dad from the Midwest,
and his girl is an adult now, and he has to worry. He is a mature guy. He is one of the greatest lyricists that have ever touched a pen.
Yes,
and we'll see what happens with him and Machine Gun Kelly. And it's interesting because there is not a single person who's ever come for Eminem who didn't lose. None.
Yeah.
So we'll see if where that takes. I actually think it's helpful for him because when you come out and you have all the money and you have all the awards, you're Eminem, you're a legend. People speak about you with reverence. The people who know. What's your motivation, right? Your first couple albums, those don't happen in a year. Those are life works. Right?
Yeah.
Like Kanye, remember when Kanye's first album dropped, you had heard some of those songs 3-4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
That was his life's work. And then next year, because now you're a star, you got to come out and repeat that. And year after year, you have to repeat that. And of course, it's never as good because it never took the time.
Yeah.
I actually think Eminem should take not the Dr. Dre approach, let out one album and forever, but he should really take his time, make 100 songs and put out the top 20, the top 15. Because and I don't think he's searching for bangers, and that's what people want. They want a banger. Why isn't there?
Give me a banger.
Yeah, give me something that makes sense on the radio that I can play. Right? He's using it to show you his rap intellect, his lyrics, and I don't think everyone is super into that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I haven't listened to it. I will. I'll listen to it and check it out and see what's see what's going on with the new Eminem album. But I am glad to see there's not any subliminal dissing. There's straight direct hits. He took hits at MGK. MGK took direct hits at him. I don't know why he disrespected, or I don't know if he even disrespected, but brought up some of these other rappers. The mumble rappers fine, but like Tyler and Earl Sweatshirt, I was like, why would you even? Those guys are both really talented.
Probably rhymed.
Probably, yeah.
I just think I think he's going after anyone who isn't, in his mind, making music, hip hop music, making lyrical hip hop music that is about lyrics.
He could have just gone after people that he really like. He low key like admires, kind of. MGK, Tyler.
Well, MGK is like a little Eminem, so it's to him he sees this guy imitating him.
Imitating it. He's not as high on lyrical bars as Eminem, but he's above average.
Oh,
and he's serious and he's real. He's where he's from and he's got the daughter. He's from the Midwest, single. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Single dad. He's real. I love when he said like from one single dad from the Midwest to other. I love that. Just him saying that was just like, that's the realest shit ever. Like, come on, bro. We come from the same place. So let's be honest here. That was
my only criticism of Eminem is that it just doesn't seem like he has fun making music, and you should let out something that you did that you enjoyed, right?
It's hard. It's probably hard. You probably just have people like really coming at him to just release something. I don't know what the pressure's like, but I'm sure. I mean, he's like damn near up there, like kind of like exec now, probably. I mean, making moves.
He's not doing it for cash.
He's probably just bored. I like that MGJ commented on his like weird beard and like sweatpants and like hat or whatever else. He's just like, because he does look weird.
I mean, but it's he's in a he reminds me a lot of Allen Iverson, right? You see Allen Iverson out on the street, he's 40 something years old. He looks exactly like he looked in 1993. Right?
Yeah.
He's dressed gold chains, big pants, sagging. He has not matured and evolved with the times.
Practice. You talking about practice?
He's still in the clubs drinking Henny like he's being AI. And I think Eminem is still dressed like, Slim Shady LP is coming out. And that's his whole, he's not that same guy.
Yeah.
My thing is like anything you do, especially in art, but it's true in business, true in life. If you're not doing it with passion behind it, like what's your motive? Like I can't tell you what M's motivation was for that album besides settling scores, which he's quite good at. But where's your passion? If you're just doing it to do something, if you're just doing something for money or for acclaim or because you want to get back to the mountaintop in whatever field you're in, if there's no passion behind it, if there's no real motivation, you're gonna get left behind by people who do have that, and that's something that is applicable to anything you're doing in your life. If you're not the most passionate person in the room, you're in the wrong room. For you.
Yeah, I wonder because I've never seen him. I don't know about any art stuff or I don't know technology or what he invests in or side projects or anything else he's passionate about. Maybe that's what he needs to do.
I mean, people still buy his records now. People still buy his old stuff now. Like the advent of iTunes and all these streaming services, he makes money.
Yeah, true. Oh, we got a Mason Mitchell we watching, and we have Bobby Johnson. I think I met him one time at
a toga party.
At a toga party, and then at Brandon's. Yeah, he's got a beautiful family. I'm working on my own. Big up to Mr. Bobby Johnson.
Yeah, we slept in the car that night.
Yeah, slept in cars many nights.
True story. True story.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we had that MGK thing. We had the Colin Kaepernick thing. Is there anything else going on that's worth commenting on?
There's so much going on. Depends if you want to talk about music or if you want to go out of the box.
We can go out of the box. You got any weird shit for me?
There's just, man, I've been watching so much shows. I've been just like trying to drink in information. Like that's my new thing.
Really?
I like at least once a month I read a new book or I listen to a book on tape.
Yeah.
A lot of the things I listen to and view are political, but I've been trying to like step away from that, not fully, but just go back to like when I'm looking at a time and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? What are the dangers of what's happening right now?
Yeah.
I say, okay, well, everything is copy, right? And what I mean by that is there's nothing that's happening now that hasn't happened in some other form.
Original.
No, there's nothing original.
Yeah.
0% of things are original. Everything is copy. So I always try to look back at what's happening. And I always go back to the fact that I've had a unique experience in the last few years to really travel the country, to really meet different people. There's very few states I haven't been to. Very
that's
few.
right, because when you're doing all the training, you're going to lots of...
I was going wherever they'd send me, US and Canada. And I just think the biggest thing for everyone across the country to really understand is that everything that you want is the same as what everyone else wants. It's the same. It's really more, there's really groups of people who want those things, but they don't want them for other people.
Mm-hmm.
But what they want is the same thing. And you can't get the thing that you want, without other people in your position getting it. So whether you're looking for better education, which is right now my soapbox, we're getting killed, right? We're getting killed in education. Mexicans aren't taking anyone's jobs. Chinese people with graduate degrees and doctorates, and Indian people and Persian people are those who are taking your jobs, and they're not stealing them. They're taking them because they're more qualified and they're smarter than us by a mile. It's not close, especially in STEM, math, science.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting destroyed. And people need to understand that you get what you pay for. If you pay a teacher 35 grand, your kid's going to be stupid. Period. If you pay a police officer 35 grand, he's going to shoot someone. You're going to get that type of person because you get what you pay for, right?
Yeah.
We have to pay people more in public service. We have to pay politicians more. What we think is a lot of money isn't a lot of money, right? We pay a politician 170 G's a year, and to an average person, that's a ton of money. But if it's 170 G's a year versus what a special interest group could influence and pay him, it's not close. So of course they're all corrupt because they can't be, because they couldn't help but be. Everyone's first priority is to their family.
Yes.
Politician, firefighter, college student. Everyone's first priority is to their family, and they'll make sacrifices for them. So you're telling this political person who is looking to the side and sees that the man with the bag of money is right there, and if you pull some strings, it could be basically legal. They're gonna do that, and then they're owned, and they're gonna do what they're being told to do, which is why things are not functioning as people want them in any place here. In a liberal place and a conservative place, things aren't going the way people would like them to go, and they're not because they're not engaged. The money is how you control people, right? If NFL players are concerned with police brutality, the kneeling is cool. I think the kneeling's no longer necessary. It made its point.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get any further with it.
With the kneeling. Yeah.
But you don't have to play. You could everyone could boycott a preseason game. It's going to cost you some money, but that's the thing. What are you gonna sacrifice? Anyone who wants to change anything, whatever it is, whatever spectrum you are, what are you willing to sacrifice to get that? If you're not willing to sacrifice anything, you're not going to get anything. How did Martin Luther King get his job done? He gave his life. What are you willing to give for whatever it is that you believe in? And that's the problem. No one's willing to give anything because we have this device here, and it's the greatest mind control device that's ever lived. And I'm as guilty as anyone of being anchored by it at times. I'm trying to break away. It's like crack.
Yeah.
Right. It's really like being a crackhead.
It's very.
It's like trying to stop eating sugar.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you said a lot there. And obviously there's a ton that I agree with, and also I do believe these devices are the devil. Definitely don't, we're going to try and keep our kid when he comes out in October away from that for as long as possible. Let his brain develop without.
You need context. I don't want kids to be away from technology. In fact, they need to be all over technology. Your kid needs to be coding. Teach your kids to code. If they can't code, they ain't going to have a job because there's not going to be a need for these manual labor service jobs that are going to be done by AI. It's not an if, it's a win.
Yes.
It's just a win. And even people like Bill Gates and Elon Musk have predicted 70% unemployment in the next 30 years. You better be ready for it. There's things that we always need, though.
Uh-huh.
Plumbers make 6 figures. Electricians make 6 figures, right?
Mhm.
They make money. Go to a trade school. It may be worth it for you to go to a 4-year college. It may not be. Make those
Not for everybody.
make those intelligent decisions. If everyone goes to college, then college doesn't mean anything. What college really is and really provides you, now it's different things to different people, right? If you go and get
Yeah.
a technical skill, that's an important thing. But if you're going and you're getting a philosophy degree, or when I was in junior college, I went and I wanted to be a political science major. That was literally, so if I applied for a job and there was 1,000 applicants, only 100 of them have that piece of paper. That's what it's for.
Uh-huh.
And you and I come from probably the last generation of people who could go to school, pretty much just party and drink all the time, come out and have a job.
Mhm.
Everyone since us cannot do that. But the problem is the system is created for that purpose, right? The school system was created in the 1940s and 50s. It's created to get you to a factory that no longer exists. Doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah, I had this guy Chara in my program. He's originally from Sri Lanka. He was born in, I think, France. He spent the first 5 years there, went back to Sri Lanka, did like middle school through high school, and he told me how the school system works and how they start assessment tests in, I think, middle school, and it kind of tells you what you're good at, and it gives you options but not a ton, and they're like, you have to do either some type of science or math, or you can do arts and stuff and do assessment tests, and then you have a major the last 2 years of high school. So you major in something, so by the time you get out, like, you're pretty well educated. So when he came, and he went to college after that for some music school in London or whatever. But when he came, I think he came to America after high school, just graduated high school, and he was tutoring. He was getting paid to tutor high school students, because when he was in high school, he already learned past calculus, like way above. So he was actually tutoring high school students when he came back, and that was his job, and he made money, and that was like a stepping stone to do other stuff. And he said, like, he's obviously really smart. He's smart with, physics and, I don't know, science and math and all this stuff, but even though he's really into art. But he said, like, he wished he had more of a system like in America, as far as like you can get more of a liberal education, like different stuff, even though the education isn't that great maybe in depth, but he likes that there's more options, you have more choice, because he didn't want to do math and science and stuff. He wanted to just stick to art, but he was kind of forced into that.
Probably should let people be. We're one of the only countries that doesn't allow people to specialize in education, specialize in certain areas. Some people, because human beings are specialists, right? Some people are really good at history or really good at English, but
Yes.
they suck at math. Some
Yeah.
people are really good at math, really good at science, and they have a STEM type brain, but they're really terrible in other areas, and we need to allow people to go down their own platform
Absolutely.
to get where they need to get, so that we, the greater society that needs people to work and to produce things, can get what we need. Because unemployment's like 3% like so low. Why is it that low? Really? Is it because everyone has a good job? Of course not. Most people don't like their job. Right? So why is it so low? Well, anyone can get a job. You can Uber, you can Lyft, you can Postmates, you can Grubhub, you can StubHub, you can do whatever it is you do.
Share, whatever
Exactly.
economy.
So I work for a company right now that does pickup and delivery for car dealerships.
Yes.
So you bought your car an hour away to get a good deal. You would normally service down the street, but since they'll come pick up your car and drop it off, you'll service with the place that you bought from. It's that type of deal. It just helps the dealer give an additional service to their customer. Well, these people in this business that I've been in for so long,
Yeah.
we have a lot of people with special skills, with specialized sales skills that can sell anything. But these people come from all walks of life. Some have college degrees, some are rolling in on a skateboard and a diploma, right? But the thing that I tell people that I love about sales is that sales is like the gym, right? The gym, you can't lie to it.
Yeah.
You come in, you pump weights, it shows.
Yeah.
You don't, it shows.
Yeah.
That's how sales is. And that's, you want to get into the businesses that pay the most money are like that. We have all these people in the service industry, but do I believe that all these people driving an Uber should be? No.
Yeah.
So I've met, going airport to airport, taking Uber. There's so many talented people who aren't in the right place doing this service work. And do we want the bulk of our work in this country, the richest country on the planet, to be low wage service work?
That's where we're moving towards, though.
If you're in low wage service work, then you can't afford to buy a car. many of the people, especially in California, can afford. You buy the car and you get that loan, but it's for an Uber loan because they do those now, and they're not good loans. And now you're driving and you're stuck in this Uber job to pay off for this car. Like, you're not advancing. Well, people in the middle class, the people who out there who are doing okay, we need more poor people to rise, because that will expand our businesses and so on and so forth. It's a trickle up economy. It's not a trickle down economy, but our rules are based for a trickle down economy where the people up top get all the special things, and this wealth will eventually trickle down to the bottom. And that's something that started in the early 1980s, but we all see it has not trickled down
because they don't reinvest in the economy. They reinvest in like speculative like markets and stuff that, you know, they just hold on to.
And if you make it sound complicated enough, you can get people to agree with you. What I try to do is to bring it down to the lowest level. Like, think about it. Costs have continued to rise. They've never stopped rising.
Yeah.
Wages haven't rose since the 1970s. So there's a deficit in what things cost versus what it made. So people who made 50 grand in 1960 basically could have a standalone family off that. Now, even in very low income, cheap places to live, low cost of living places, 50 grand is nothing. But to us, 50 grand means exactly, and to the average person, it means the same thing it did to their parents. Like, 50 grand, oh, you're doing okay. No, you're broke. 50 grand's broke. It's not enough money for anyone. But most of the places that have the most money to give to workers have the easiest incentives not to share. And I always come with a little bit of a dire warning. This is a very simple world if you go back and look at our history.
Yes.
We're either going to share and live, or we're not, and we're going to die. And I'm not just America, human beings. It's very simple. We've been here a long time, but we ain't been here that long, right? Like, America, we're the greatest country ever. We've been here 500 years. The Egyptian Empire was thousands of years. There's been several Chinese empires that dominated the known globe at the time, 3,000 years plus. We haven't done anything yet. We still should be striving for greatness, but and I can understand why it happens. I'm not blaming anyone, but we're a country full of people who hit a double and think they hit a home run. We ain't done it yet. We have not crossed that bridge yet. I've been to, like, you think people are poor in California? You're nuts. I've been to Salt Lake City. I've been to Mobile, Alabama. I've been to Arkansas. It's another
type of third world
we have third world poor people who can't eat, and they're people of all colors. They're brown people, they're black people, they're white people. Most of them are white people who cannot eat. Can't eat. Barely. And there's no reason for it. Because we've allowed, and sometimes I think, wow, we're so wealthy in California, maybe we're not doing enough to help other people. And maybe if we helped more other poorer states, they'd think better of us, because we're not popular. Yeah. Now, granted, most people have never left their backyard or their home state, so they don't know anything about what's actually going on out there, and vice versa. Most people here don't know what's actually going on in places that they're not from, and that's part of the problem. And when I went to car dealerships in Canada, there were people in Canada. They make less than the United States. Their money's worth less. But these 20-something-year-olds, which are just like our 20-something-year-olds, they've traveled the world. They get a month off every year. Every year. It's a different industry. When we're in the industry, it's always about, what can you do now? How do I close the deal now, right? What can I do to earn your business right now, today? It's different in Canada. When you buy a car in Canada, you don't leave with the car that day. Why? Because the bank doesn't own the car the day you buy it. The bank it takes a couple days to process that information. So they don't have a one-day delivery, because why are they going to give you something the bank doesn't own? But most people who are consumers on the consumer end don't understand that. When you leave the car dealership, your dealership owns your loan. That's until the bank takes over. If you're leasing, the dealership owns the loan. You leased through the car dealership. You didn't lease through the financial institution. So, and the car dealership then makes it's their profit, it's their credit that they're extending you. So, but the point was that people have they have richer lives. If people were willing to live a little smaller, which is something I try to live a couple rings below where I could, just in case something happens, right?
With that Wagyu beef?
With that Wagyu, well, you prioritize that Wagyu beef, bro.
Fancy boy.
That's good types of fat, straight from Japan.
Okay.
Holla at your boy.
No, it's
Get that
delicious.
Wagyu beef.
I just had to. But go
It's,
ahead.
yeah, but and I'm not a minimalist by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a minimalist. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, if you can temper yourself, if we can as a country temper ourselves a bit, we can actually invest in the infrastructure, invest in the education that we need, and especially for our peers of our age. It's not for us. We're probably going to be okay. It's for the kids. The kids are going to have a way tougher time than you can imagine. One of the biggest questions I ever was asked in a car dealership by business operators who are older was, what's with these millennials? What's with these millennials? Why don't they work hard? Why don't they think, how we worked? And I would always be very frank with them. Listen, why can't I keep them employed? Well, listen, you have a generation of people who grew up in a household where their parents chased the American dream. They did everything right. And most of them didn't make it. Anyways, they worked all day. Both their parents worked all day long. They got divorced because they never saw each other. They never could go on vacations because their parents were constantly working, trying to make more, buy more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, most importantly, they were unhappy. Their family nucleus was crushed by the system that we live under. And it's not anyone's fault. It's natural. Capitalism isn't good or evil. It's a numbers game. It's not making moral decisions for you. It's amoral. It is for us to put some moral constraints around it if we choose to, or if we don't. But if we don't be surprised when it runs you over, because it doesn't care. And it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about color or creed. It will run you over. And that's what's happening. And so I'd always tell them, listen, these are the children of that era. You're telling them they should kill themselves in a car dealership 7 days a week, which is especially in California. And they're like, nah, gee, I'd rather go to Europe and find myself. Right. And also you get what you pay for. There was a recession right before we got out of the car business, right before I got out of the car business. I lasted a little longer than you, but there was a recession, and all what people got paid to sell cars came down naturally as the business came down. Well, we've been in a 5-year stretch where we've been breaking sales records month after month. Those pay plans have not readjusted. Also, interest rates on cars are very low, so the car brands could pump up the price because you care about payment, right? You care about the car payment. So here's your $500 a month car payment you're looking for on that $70,000 car that used to be $50,000.
Uh-huh.
But what it does is all of the skill level of the people who are in the car business has depleted because they can't make enough money. It's simple. If a dealer was to ask me why I wasn't in a dealership working, it's because you can't afford me. Simple, very simple. It's because I take vacations. I want to have a family life someday. Those things are critical to me, and you can't have those. Or you can have them, and they'll give you lots of money to have it. I mean, there's money in the car business more than most places, but you don't get any work-life balance. So for me, on the vendor side, where you work for corporations, there's a little more balance, and you can still be highly effective in what you do. Like I spend time in dealerships, but I also work from home, and I can do a lot of my work and a lot of my contacts with dealers from home until I make that visit to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, get your kids in STEM or y'all in trouble. I'm telling you, I'm trying to warn people. Get your kids in STEM. Teach them how to code. Like, you'll notice little kids now, they don't write in cursive, and older people are like, oh, they don't write it. Who cares? We don't write it. We don't write. When's the last time you had to write in cursive? Honestly, I learned how to write in cursive. Sign in a check, and I had to go to the bank to get a check because I don't even use checks anymore, just in case I needed to use it to buy a car. But they take credit card now, so I opted to take the points.
Yeah, nice.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to accept. It's the hardest thing for human beings to accept. It's the hardest thing for businesses to accept. Change. Change is not coming. It's here. We're in a situation where you're in the eye of the hurricane, right? So everything seems so calm and pristine, but in reality, there's chaos. That's and people can feel it. They can feel it in their gut. They can't articulate it. They have a job. They're doing okay. They're doing well enough, right? They have their little mind control machine that keeps them happy, keeps them clicking. Yeah. But they don't have what they want, and they don't feel like things are going perfectly, but it's difficult to articulate it. So that's why people who are may have more of a talent with the tongue. People like me have to come out and articulate it for people. Yes, what you're feeling is real. Yeah. No, things are not going like they should be. Yeah. Even when you're doing what you think is well, because even people who are even most people who are making 100,000, 150,000, 250,000, they're many of those people are living relatively paycheck to paycheck, but it's because they haven't been taught how to live right.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that morally. I mean putting your money away, making the proper investments, not spending it all on nonsense. Like how many people when we were selling cars would come in, especially 2006, 2007, and they had a check from their refinance of their house. They're about to put it in a car. You're taking money out of an investment account, a piggy bank, and you're putting it into a dumpster fire. I didn't question it. I'm trying to get paid.
Shit
And,
show.
yeah, I didn't understand it at the time, right? I didn't really, it wasn't quantifiable to me. I was 20 years old. I was really just thinking about chicks and stuff. But
Yeah.
but I could, like, there was just something funny about that. And I was always very perceptive. I always like to observe what's going on.
Yeah.
What's really going on?
What's really going on, Willis? Yeah, man. I'm glad we're talking about all this stuff. There was something else I did want to bring up, because I think people do know something's wrong, and to kind of go back to what you said, and they, even though they have a job and maybe a relationship and their bills are paid, they're just not getting out of life what they want. Maybe there's a little bit of a void, and they can't quite make that out. Because maybe the game's rigged against them. But I'm in a group on Facebook. It's like Socrates something dialect, and they have pretty good discussions. In this, they brought up like the school shooter thing, and somebody made a really good point. This girl was kind of saying, and because she wrote a lot, and I don't have all of it, but what she was saying is like a big part of the problem is for some of these boys is like isolation, like
Incels.
or whatever this is, isolation, like people are isolating themselves away from, I guess, their social circles, or they feel like they don't fit in one or another. But also our society isn't properly going out of its way to absorb and assimilate and like really bring people in, like, so they're adjusted properly. It doesn't work like a village or whatever. Like, capitalism kind of reigns, and it provides great things, but its priority is not the proper socialization of young boys and even really anybody.
No.
So
we're animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a news flash for people. Human beings were meant to sit in an office 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's going to drive you a little nutty after a while. A lot of people. That's what it does. It's meant to do that. And you're right. I think it's fair in a society to say we have built this mansion, this great country of ours, off capitalism, but we also have the ability to say, let's modulate it here, let's modulate it there, so that we're getting the outcomes. Because what's the point of all this money if no one's happy? We're the richest country. We are not even close to the happiest country. We are overworked. We're under vacationed. And if you can't sit down with your family, like, what are you going to remember? What do you remember when you leave this place? What do you remember that makes you happy? It's always human interaction. It's one of the curses of being a human being, is you need other human beings. And what happens is you get that chemical, this device gives you that illusion of other human beings. Like, I'm talking on my social media, I'm talking in Facebook, I'm I'm on Twitter, I have this network, or like these isolated kids, I'm on these websites and they're telling me crazy stuff, but I can kind of relate to it, and it radicalizes people. Like, we should look at the school shooters and some of the similar ways that we look at terrorists. There's a profile of a school shooter. You know what I mean? There's a profile. It's not some magical person. It's a very common type of person. Yeah. They're almost all men. We should probably talk about why men always break stuff. Yeah. Right. But if you talk about that with other men, it's like an attack. If you can't be self-aware, how aware can you be of anything, right? There aren't very many, if any, school shooters who are women. We should probably talk about that. Yeah. Right? I'm not saying that's the culprit. I'm saying let's talk about that. Maybe it is. Let's talk about the isolation of people. But there's also, it's because men are getting mixed messages, right? We're getting things are changing very rapidly, right? We're in the eye of the hurricane, but people are getting all these mixed messages about what's important, what will make you happy. And you have men who are what are young men chasing? Girls. Yeah. And that rejection, not getting those girls, is I tell people, those people who are shooting up schools are people who ain't getting chicks. Yeah. That's what they are. And it's, all of us have been in that place where we're not getting what we want, or the girls we like don't like us, but we don't go out shooting stuff. So the question is, what's the difference there, and why do they feel so entitled? Is the word, because that's what brings the anger, is because they feel like the world owed them that, and they didn't get it. And those are the type of people who wish they were from a bygone time where we had basically a control over the autonomy of women. Because life is easier for men when you control the autonomy of women, of course. So, of course, there's going to be a percentage of men who are very interested in the ability to control the autonomy of women. Yeah. I think that's a mistake. I actually am more for a matriarchal society. I think if women run things, we'll be much better. Because men, the things that we chase, the money, the power, those are to get chicks. I mean, at the human level, at the human being animal level, it's to get
if you didn't have to get that stuff to get chicks, you wouldn't get that
but
stuff.
We've created a social system, a class system that's decided who gets what and when. And we've dissipated the need and the importance of intelligence and thoughtfulness and caring. And it's disproportionately passed over by money and prominence and perceived power.
And fame.
Yeah.
That's something I talked about yesterday with that guy Char from Sri Lanka. He's a real smart guy. And he's going through a bit of a culture shock here in America. And he's been to London, another kind of Western society. And he says nothing's like America. And it trips him out because he can't really grapple with or understand how someone like Kim Kardashian is famous here. And that's like, there's so many different routes to, I guess, success. Like, Donald Trump, Kim Kardashian, a sports athlete, YouTube people. And we kind of it upset him too that we kind of export that too. Like it affects other countries. Like, all they need is internet connection and maybe you're an attractive female and then you can just.
And they're getting it. China's building internet connection in third world countries, and especially in Africa, they're building hospitals and internet in neighborhoods in exchange for gold and diamonds. Take your kid out of the diamond mine where he's losing his arm, and all you got to do is give us all your resources and we'll build a country for you. And that's what's happening. And really, it should be us leading that charge. Yeah. China's going to take over this strongest, most rich country on the planet. China's is going to take that over. And the funny thing is we're probably not going to do anything to stop it. Because you know what economic growth is, if you guys haven't noticed yet, and I'm sure many of you have, it's new human beings. Rich people don't have a lot of babies. It's weird. I get it. Poor people who can't afford them have them. Yeah. Rich people have less children, and it defies all racial or ethnic boundaries. We're not having enough children to keep up the system we've built that is dependent on people spending money and more people spending money. We're an aging society. We have way too many older people and not enough newer. People need to have babies if they'd like this train to continue. But I also think that it's fair to say, maybe we don't want to maybe it's not that important to us to be the richest country on the world. Maybe we'd rather be a really happy, strong, rich country in the best country on the world, because the best and the richest to me ain't the same. Yeah. You can't have people starving and tell me you're the best country on the planet. I really it's not. That doesn't work for me. Yeah. And it's on us. And I'm always disappointed by people's low standards for our own country. Yeah. Your standards are so low. Like this is, I think what you said about Kim Kardashian, and I'm not a Kardashian hater at all. I think she actually did a lot for body image in the country and went from Kate Moss, 95 pounds on to someone who doesn't miss meals. And I think that was important. But yeah, I don't think you can have Donald Trump be president without Kim Kardashian. And it's not just her and it's not him. Those are symbols, because he doesn't get there without people who say that's okay. That behavior is okay. What he does is okay regardless. Because if I get what I want, whether it's Supreme Court justice or a tax cut, I just looked at, because I just changed jobs. I just looked at what I've made, and I've been very consistent income wise for the last 3 years. Man, my taxes went up. I've already paid more now than I paid last year. I'm paying more in taxes. Yeah. Like there ain't no tax cut that's come my way, and I make more money than most people. I do okay. Like, wow. I was stunned when I saw how much taxes I've been paying. Like that's the, in the jobs we were expecting, the raises and wages, because we don't really need jobs. Everyone once a job has a job. We need people's wages to be increased so that they can spend money, especially money, because small businesses always cost more than Walmart, right? Uh-huh. People they're not dumb. They want to spend money in small businesses. They want to support their community, but they have to be able to afford it. I try as much as I can to go to mom and pop shops, to go to places that are franchise owned by human beings. I would love for the money I spend to affect someone in real life if it can, where possible.
Yeah.
I don't walk into Walmart. I've never bought a damn thing from Walmart and won't buy anything from Walmart. I will never put money into a place that when people ask for raises, tells them how to get on welfare. That is actually the biggest abuses of the system are corporate abuses. And we've been convinced through advertising and brainwashing of billion-dollar companies that is okay, and that no, those companies are actually, look at all the people they employ. They can't eat, but it's fine.
They're
They're not. We need more contributors to the economy. And I don't mean this because like I said earlier, there's dignity in work. And my first job was at Blockbuster. My second job was at Albertsons cooking chicken, like cutting meat. And I tell people all the time, the hardest job I've ever done was cutting meat at Albertsons, son, cooking chicken.
Yeah,
that's the hard, by far. $7 an hour or something I was making.
Yeah.
I've worked in those jobs. There's nothing wrong with those jobs, but I wasn't an economic contributor. I didn't pay basically any money in taxes federally because I didn't make enough money. I couldn't go buy cars. I couldn't contribute to the greater economy that we all need. The closer to the middle class and the deeper in the middle class you get, the more you need more people, everyday working people, to have disposable income, and they don't have any.
Yeah.
And it's not because there's, oh my God, they have an iPhone. You need this now. I couldn't do my job without it. And most people can't. We're all interconnected with this technology. It's not a luxury item anymore. It's a necessity. And it's like people talk about minimum wage. Oh my God, you can't put it at $15 an hour. $15 an hour is nothing.
It's nothing.
It's not. $15 an hour for Walmart to pay employees is nothing. I would exempt small businesses who genuinely can't afford that from having to pay that. But for Target, for Apple, $15 an hour. Sorry, bro. That's it. And pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Your people are wondering why their infrastructure is crumbling, but we have all this money. It's because people aren't paying their taxes. Like, it's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's very simple math. And of course, it's because we spend a lot of money, and our military is an economy unto itself, for better or worse. And that's a problem too. But fix what we can control right now. What we can control right now is what we do and how we address our investments. We need to invest in the country. That's how the country got where it is. The government built most of the country.
We used to make things.
It wasn't magical. When everyone came back from the Great Depression, the government made jobs for them. They built the Hoover Dam. The whole Hoover Dam.
I watched a documentary on that. It was extraordinary. Oh, you got some fans here. We got Mason Mitchell, true story.
Yeah, I
Donald
see.
Maurice Hawthorne, and we got Tyrone Mayo. Is that a cousin?
That's my nephew.
That's what's up. The Hoover Dam, by the way, dude, there was guys that literally they would like scale the side of the thing. They had a jackhammer and they had dynamite, and they would poke a hole in, like did it for the dynamite, put the dynamite in, and then like light it, and then like try to run away and blow it up. And they did that while they're like scaling the side.
The highways,
the most dangerous thing I've seen. Stuff on there is so crazy.
The number one employer in that decade, and up until the 1950s, was the government. And the 1950s was the greatest expansion of economic wealth in the country. The 1950s had wages for the average American doubled in the 1950s. Doubled. Wages have been stagnant since 1970. They doubled in the 1950s. Why? Investment, economic investment, creating reasons for people to do important work.
Yeah.
Get them out of the retail is great. There's nothing, like I said, they got to have a job, but we can address the problem two ways. We either control how much it costs for people to live, housing. That's acute. And in California, we think housing is just a problem of, big blue states where it's dense. It's not. Mm-hmm. Housing is a struggle in Texas. It's a struggle in Florida. It's a struggle. Housing is a struggle everywhere because what we get paid on average in California is higher than what. So if you live in a cheaper state, they pay you less.
Yeah. That's just how they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's cost of living adjustments. Most big businesses are going to do some cost of living adjustments. Mm-hmm. Those are things. But more than that, we have to get back. We have to get to a place that is morally acceptable as a country. that isn't, because we've always connected morality to religion, and a lot of people are swaying away from religion for institutional reasons. I don't think it's because they lack the spirituality. I think they do still. Most people are still
They
religious.
want something to believe in.
They believe in some. Most
They
people believe in something.
They have
They're going
faith.
away from the churches. They're going away from the mega churches that are exploiting them and making money off them. They're going away from the, a lot of Catholics are turning away because
the
of
Catholic Church.
Stop touching kids. It's weird.
They're fucking out of control.
Yeah, that's crazy. Stop it. It's got to stop.
Yes.
And stop trying to hide it. It's a problem. We know it's a problem. Let priests get married. Accept women as priests, and the problem solved. Free advice. Free. Do it. Don't be afraid to stop people from getting molested.
Yeah.
But that's pulling people away. But that also pulls people away from a sense of collective as a country morality, because you can't have Donald Trump without a lack of collective morality, because even his most ardent supporter has to hold their nose at things that he does to make him acceptable. And we all do that to a certain extent. Donald Trump is just the manifestation of years and years of doing that, and years of the public. Basically, when a politician says something, whatever he says, even if it's a lie, we just believe him because he's on TV. Right? Yes. He's not the only one.
He's not the first politician to lie.
Well, yeah, they all make promises they may or may not be able to keep. Usually it's promises of things they'd like, but aren't realistic. Like Bernie Sanders can say, hey, we're going to get free college, but then okay, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to get it to pass Congress when Republicans own Congress? He doesn't have an answer to that because there is no answer to that because they ain't going to fund that. If you want free college, you need to vote Democrat in every election for the next 10 years and you'll get free college and you'll get free healthcare and you'll get all those things. If you vote Republican, you're never going to get that. It's very simple unless you start pressuring Republicans to be for that. I was actually stunned traveling to more rural areas, how many people who are ardent Trump supporters, really conservative, naturally people, want free healthcare. I think the government has a obligation to give them healthcare. They want free education. They think the government has an obligation to have education. Their problem is that there's people who they think shouldn't have it, don't deserve it, who are as poor as they are. And that's the problem. What you do, it's one of the things that LBJ used to say, what you do for poor white folks are actually help everyone. It helps because poor is poor. If you make it about income, you'll help everyone. You'll lift, a rising tide lifts all boats. And there's a lot of truth to that. But the problem is it's so easy to divide people into teams, like the anthem. Oh my God, Kaepernick, he's protesting the troops. No, he's protesting police brutality. He's disrespecting the flag. No, he's protesting police brutality. I was a Boy Scout. There is a flag code of ethics. Kneeling ain't on it. It's not.
A lot of people don't even
wearing
know
the
flag code
wearing
of
the
ethics.
flag as a t-shirt, wearing the flag as pants over your private parts, putting the flag on the ground. Those are things. Wearing your hat during the national anthem. Those are things that are against the code.
Yes.
Kneeling was something that was recommended to Kaepernick by a Green Beret.
Yeah.
It's not, but they're not against protests. They're against what they're protesting, and they're against the protests coming into their life when they're trying to watch a football game, which is their escape. I understand it, but that's the point of protest. The point wasn't that Martin Luther King had a Rolex. He had money, homie. He didn't have to die. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to live in New York in the slums so that he could start the working movement. He didn't have to do any of those. He could have went straight home, had a nice life as a highly educated person in the country, and been one of the lucky ones. Sacrifice is how you get what you want, period. If you're not willing to sacrifice, then you don't want change, regardless of your ideology. Ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice right now? What are you willing to forego to get whatever it is you want? Because that's the only way. That's how our system works. You have to give up of yourself for the next generation.
Yeah, people aren't like, you saw I posted that thing the other day with the Ford F-150. Like if Ford sponsored like Colin Kaepernick, are people gonna just drive their trucks in the river? Fuck no.
Nah,
because
they're gonna buy Fords. They love Fords.
Yeah,
Ford's a good truck, man. They love Fords. I get it.
I guess it's just a price on everybody's.
I drove a Burgundy Focus for 10 years. I understand. It was a hatchback. Burgundy.
You went from the like 1922 Mercedes, to the Focus, to the Focus, to the BMW. And now, what did you say you got now?
I have a 440.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to check that out next time. Come hang out at the pad in Laguna. Laguna. Was it Woods?
Nigel.
Miguel. Yeah. How's the pad treating you?
It's good, man. It's good. I haven't been there that much because I've been traveling, working, but this is my first week of kind of working from home, having that flexible schedule where I can, contact my customers and do what I need to do, schedule travel as need be. I've been scheduling some kind of initial appointments for next week to go out and meet with some dealers and, take a look at their processes, making sure they're getting what they're paying for, which is my job. But it's been great. It's a nice little community. It's funny, everyone from my era, like I went to school in Dana Point, which is not too far away from where I live, and I lived in Laguna Niguel younger years, and I moved out to Irvine and Laguna Hills, and that's where I thought the action was. And now a lot of the people in my peer group are kind of coming back home, coming back to where we all grew up.
Laguna Niguel?
Yeah. Laguna Niguel area, Dana Point, Aliso Viejo. But it's also more of a family area, so it's just as nice, but it's a little less expensive.
Okay.
Not for me, but my apartment complex is brand new, so I kind of paid a little bit of a luxury. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Tax.
No one ever lived in my apartment before, so it was a little more expensive than it should be.
Oh, it's nice. I love it. It's super cool.
Yeah, it's a nice little the amenities are nice. That's how they get you. They get you to pay mortgage prices for a 1-bedroom apartment because they got a fancy pool and a gym. Granted, man, I had a $140 gym membership a month and I could cancel it because they have the facilities that I need to do what I need to do.
Plus, you get classes inside your place too.
Yeah. They got the Peloton machines and all that nonsense. It's a good setup.
All right. I think we're gonna wrap up the show today. Brother, I want to thank you for coming on again, man. Black Power.
Love, peace, chicken grease to all my people out there.
I want to thank everybody for watching today. Black Aaron Broadcast, episode 13, I believe. Man, great talk. Felt good. Gonna carry on with the rest of the day. I'm gonna play some of my music here to lead us out. If I can just get in my computer. Oh, actually, you know what? Why did I get on there? It's over here. My brain's not working properly. All right. I want to thank everybody for watching Black Aaron Broadcast. Said it before. I'll say it again. Don't stress. Wait. Oh, God. I can't even remember my thing. Stay blessed. Don't stress. Stay tuned. Black Aaron Broadcast. I'm out.
He's that funny young guy to talk to. Always seem to have a good talk. Always coming back around. Have a friend and have a come and try to sit down with him. Have a drink and have a talk. Smoke a blunt.